This is Moseley Rugby Round Up. Coming up, we ask if Moseley can still make the top 8. Hello and welcome to Moseley Rugby Round Up. I'm Paul Bradley and I'm joined in our Fort Dunlop studios as usual by Brian Dick. Hi Brian.
Hi Paul.
Well, we'll start off with a bit of a tough question today, I suppose. Can Moseley still make the top 8?
You weren't at Nottingham, were you? Can they make the top 8? Yes, they can. Will they make the top 8? We can probably give a definitive answer by the end of this month, because this month is going to be absolutely pivotal. They've got some home games against some sides down at their end of the league. So they can win those matches, and if they win those matches, they can still escape the bottom 4. However, Nottingham, they were just appalling. It was just awful at Nottingham. We'll discuss that a bit more later. But if they play like they did at Nottingham defensively, then no, they're not going to make the top 8.
Now that was a crushing defeat, and a lot of heads will have gone down after that loss. Where did it all go wrong for Moseley?
It's a really strange performance, because in attack they looked pretty good. I wouldn't say they cut Nottingham open at will, but whenever they kept the ball and went through the phases, the gaps appeared. So Nottingham were there to be taken, as stupid as it sounds after you've conceded 62 points. Clearly the defence was the issue. The midfield defence was turnstile time. There were 2 or 3 tries scored right through the middle without hands being even put on ball carriers, and another 2 or 3 with ball carriers breaking tackles. I don't know which is worse, to be honest, but yeah, it was a defensive horror show. So
Kevin Maggs is going to be focusing on that all this week, we expect then?
Yeah, he will have done a lot. I mean, if you think what Kevin Maggs was like as a player, maybe he didn't have all the gifts that Brian O'Driscoll had outside him, but if there's a brick wall to run through, he'd run through it, and if there's a rhinoceros to tackle, he'd tackle it. So yeah, that really hurt him. That performance did, and they will have put a lot of attention on their, not so much on their structure, which they will have looked at, but on the mindset they're taking when they're going into these physical confrontations.
Now, last week you said that the forwards would have been important in this game. How did you see their performance against Nottingham?
They actually did quite well. There was quite a lot of turnover ball, which I think the forwards have to take a share of the blame. The line out wasn't as good as it has been, but if you think back to when they played Nottingham in the second game of the season and when their scrum got annihilated, that didn't happen. The 3 boys they picked in the front row really have steadied the ship, and Nottingham got some Moseley got some go forward ball. Chevy Pennycook had a very, very good game. Dan Sanderson's performances are getting to where we know they can be. So yeah, the forwards did okay, but if you don't tackle it doesn't matter.
Doncaster, what sort of challenge are they going to put up for Moseley?
Well, this game is one. There's been circumstances this week that probably put the game of rugby into a little bit of context. Doncaster will be very motivated to do something for their scrum half Lee Ordis, who was unfortunately involved in a car accident on Sunday night, and he's on a life support machine as we speak now. So yeah, as I say, that puts rugby into perspective, and I think Moseley will face a Doncaster side that will be extremely motivated, and also coming off the back of a very good win against Cornish Pirates. So whilst it seems a little bit trite to be talking about what Moseley need to do to win a rugby match in these circumstances, they'll need to fight fire with fire. They'll need to be as motivated, and maybe they've got a point to prove after last weekend themselves as well.
Well, it's bound to be an emotional game, that one. Thanks for your thoughts today, Brian, and thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week with more Moseley Rugby Roundup.